Just to talk about your performance tonight. I mean, first of all, you started off strong, 8 for 8. Then you missed your.
And I missed. It's crazy, right? The game winning miss.
but just talk about it. Because you have had your struggles early on, but then it just seems like the last 3 games you bounced back, played better, and this one you had 22 points, 5 for 6 on threes.
It's just my preparation, honestly. I come to work every day, do the same thing over and over again. I'm just trying to stay consistent. The shots I got in the game is the shots I work out on. So, it just came natural, honestly.
What goes into that preparation? Kind of take us through that routine.
Just being consistent, honestly. I watch film on the shots that I get in the game. So those are the shots that I constantly work on in my workouts. So when it comes to the game, it's like second nature to me.
Is it as simple as that eventually shots are going to fall for you, and you just have it's about repetition for you?
Yeah, it's a miss or make league, so I can't really beat myself up on the misses. So even on the makes, I can't get too high. I gotta stay level headed. So I'm just gonna go back to the drawing board and just continue to work.
No Paul, obviously, no Joel. A lot of guys playing extended minutes early on in the season. Was there kind of a call, whether just to anyone to step up or to you specifically before this game?
No, honestly, I just go into every game, just with the stay ready mindset, because, I know I haven't been playing, but, the way our team is and the way everything is like set up, I just, stay ready at all times.
Nick was just talking to us about his confidence in you. He said, when he has a bad game, it doesn't even faze me because I love him. I guess just what stands out to you about your relationship with Nick? When did you realize that he had that sort of faith in you? And how encouraging is that for you when you do experience those struggles?
That means a lot coming from Nick, actually. We had a little moment in practice probably like last month, maybe like a month and a half ago. I was sitting on the sideline and he was like, "I'm not worried about you and you should be worried about yourself and it's all going to work out." So, that honestly just, it shows that, I've been waiting my turn and today was my day, honestly.
Justin, what does this Quentin say about y'all? I mean, it just seems like all year, it's only been 11 games, but for most of the games, you guys have been able to battle back and pull out, close ones.
Really our vets, honestly, Reese in the locker room, we got a lot of guys that's willing to fight and do whatever for each other. And it's all starting with, Joel and Reese. So, when we see those guys coming in every day and working hard, it really trickles down to all of us.
You just talked about Tyrese. You guys are 6-3 in clutch games so far this year, a lot different than last year. Just what has he meant to this team in setting the tone for the energy this year?
He means a lot, honestly. That's the franchise, man. So, he means a lot to us. Like I said earlier today to the media out there, he's really consistent with everything he does. And, for guys like me and everybody else, that's something that we want to do. We want to be in his shoes one day with the contracts and all that stuff. So, just staying consistent and, just coming to work every day, willing to teach, willing to learn, and that, means a lot to our team.
Besides simply just making shots tonight, are there elements of your game that either you feel like you worked on during the summer or even just early on in the season that you feel like you could kind of show and apply into tonight?
My defense. I always talk about my defense when you guys ask me what's something that I work on. I really take pride in my defense because that's something that gets me on the court. My shots, if they fall or if they don't fall, but I know if I do good on the defense, and I'll make something happen for our team.
The last shot, how did it feel coming out of your hands? What was going on in your head?
It didn't feel good, but I shot it. And, like I said, a game wouldn't miss, a little joke, K9 tapped it in. So, all worked out in our favor, right?
Besides that one, there were a couple of those big shots that you made either that gave you guys a lead or tied the game. I can't remember exactly which, but you were pretty animated, which you're a very even-keeled guy. So in those moments when you do get kind of hyped up, just how does that feel when you know that you
I actually kind of chilled out when I got to the NBA. Honestly, I've always been that type of guy. You guys, my mama, she's standing right there. I've always been a little guy. I've always been the guy, to just scream. That's how I got myself going as high school and college. So I kind of chilled out, but that was just a little something. I don't know.
So you do that at the NBA level, though. Does that feel like
Yeah, and then especially my hometown, it was it gave me chills low key, and then I was I had to snap back in because I was zoned out. Honestly, it was just everything was just happening so fast.
Do you think coming back home plays any kind of factor in that, kind of getting you back out of your shell?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I don't think it really has nothing to do with them. It's just me just getting out of my head, honestly. and just putting all my trust into God and letting everything work out.
Do you remember what you yelled, or is that just did you just kind of like?
I know, but if he say he gonna get a beat.
Well, yeah, she knows.
To get the PG version of it?
Let's freaking go.
But just talk about that stretch when you had, not what you said, but when you hit 3 consecutive threes to bring y'all back.
Like I said, I didn't even know I did that. I was just zoned out, honestly. That's actually in one of my workouts, I had to go 20 for 25, and like at 5 spots. And Rico was like, "You just got to zone out." And I guess that's what he meant by it, because I just was shooting and wasn't even really thinking about it. And then when they called timeout, honestly, you telling me I hit 3 threes in a row, that's my first time hearing about it, because I didn't even know I did that.
Nick was also saying that he'd rather you guys be a good fourth quarter team than third quarter team. Obviously, you don't want to fall into those holes, but the fact that you guys have come back in games, has that already built confidence that you guys can do that when you get down?
Yes. Honestly, we talk a lot on having better third quarters, so we won't have to be in that position. But everything doesn't work out in our favor all the time. So we just gotta keep doing what we're doing, and that's one thing that I know we'll do, is to fight back and to win games.
Justin, what do you think has gone wrong in those third quarters? Because it is really the only thing you guys have had that has been a negative mark on the team so far.
I don't think nothing really goes wrong, honestly. We missed a couple shots, but that's part of the game. And I feel like in majority of our games, teams don't really have consecutive runs against us where they're just scoring. And I feel like most teams get their run against us in the third quarter. So it's basketball, guys. So we just gotta keep working. Honestly, watch film and see what we can do to change that.
Just talk about you guys. It's been happening a lot this season, but the ability that you guys have to keep coming back, and particularly this one, and come back and get this victory.
Yeah, it's a good habit to have, knowing how resilient we are as a team. But we know we don't want to be in too many of those games. Coming in that third quarter, the team makes a run, and then we gotta fight and claw and scrap to get that lead back. But it's a testament to how hard we've been working as a team, how collected we are as a group in that locker room. So it kind of shows on the court with those scrappy, late fourth quarter wins and overtime wins. But we don't want to be playing like that for the rest of the season, for sure.
So what goes into the third quarter? Because it just seems like, in the locker room, we don't have the same intensity when we start, or why does that keep reoccurring?
Yeah, you see, we have the fight in the fourth quarter. You got to come out with that mentality. In the third, we're capable of that. We know, we got to come out with a different mindset and mentality. Everybody got to flip that switch on and just get right to it and not kind of ease. I think we're kind of easing into the third. We kind of have a little bit of a lead, and then we get comfortable. The other team comes out right away, coming out the gate. So we got to come out how we played in the first half at the start of the third, and we'll be all right.
That shot at the end of the half, very clean. What was your thought as soon as it left your fingers?
Yeah, I knew. They're not tracking him anymore anyway to heave, so it's you got to get him up. So, nobody's worried about that field goal percentage anymore. So you get him up, and then, like you said, you make probably 1 in every 5. So it's a good thing to see those shots going for sure, with some momentum going into that fourth quarter.
I was just gonna say, did you feel that when you got back to the bench that maybe it was a tough third quarter, but that maybe gave you guys a little bit of a spark heading into the fourth?
Yeah, those kind of shots get the team involved, get the crowd going. We kind of needed a little bit of a spark going into that fourth, and we kind of had that. And then we carried it on through the course of the rest of the game, for sure. You guys have when been you on have the a teammate like Justin who's in and out of the rotation and then comes in and has a performance like that tonight, how much of a lift does that give you guys emotionally, spiritually, to all right, we got to go get this one? Oh, definitely. It's great not only for the team, but for him and his confidence. Just being able to stay ready, stay resilient, not knowing when your number may be called, but coming out, would he miss 1 shot tonight or something like that? So just hat off to him. He played amazing, just coming in every day. Staying after practice, getting extra shots up, getting extra run in with his stay ready group and stuff like that. So he proved why he was ready tonight, for sure.
Quentin, the turnovers were much lower tonight.
Yeah.
Why or what led to that? Consciously or not?
I think Boston's a great team, physical. We know they come out with a playing the way Missouri, get some guys ready to play. We know we had got to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. A missed shot is better than turnover any day of the week. So we got to go out there, put on a rim. We got guys like Drum, Bona, Kelly who can go get it if we miss it and get extra possessions for us. So just, just coming in detail. That was kind of one of the main keys going into the game, holding onto the ball. So I feel like that was just everybody was locked in for sure for the game.
What went into the decision to bring Justin back into the rotation, and how good did it feel to see him erupt in that way and swing that game in your favor?
Yeah. I mean, listen, he played, pretty solid in his first rotation in the first half. They were fairly small-ish. We used Walker a little bit there on Brown in the first half. Thought it bought some good minutes. We tried to buy a couple more minutes with him there. They were just doing a pretty good job of screening everybody, all of our primary defenders off and getting him the ball. Just again went back to Justin as a part of the rotation, really. And obviously, when you get going, we just leave you going. So he hit some big ones. Got us back in the game. That's for sure.
A two-part question, Coach. Again, what key the late run you guys had and the ability of this team to kind of stay with it. You've done this so far very well. Another times this year.
Yeah.
Get back in.
I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't know how much data we have to have, but I just kind of think this is going to be what it's like. First of all, right? Up 10, down 10. See you at the end, right? I mean, I just think we had 11 games, and 9 of them have ended at the horn, right? That's pretty amazing, really, right? Again, I think that we go through some ups and downs moments. I mean, you guys are watching the games. There's some times when the break's there and we're finding people and we're hitting the paint. There's some times when it gets stagnant. I thought what got us going tonight is we finally got to some organization and executed a few things, and they were taking away the kind of primary option, but we were just kicking it out to the open man. But it was off some execution and some organization, and I think that got us going there and when we needed it.
Obviously, Kelly had a big putback. Just what did you just kind of make of his overall night and just him kind of being in the right spot, right time, and come up with a big one there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he didn't play much in the first half because of foul trouble. But he, again, he's kind of, I would say that in the guts of that game, he got Brown. I mean, we were in a stretch. We were doing a really good job on him in the first half, and we were kind of just trying to sub Kelly with him the whole time to make sure we had a primary guy to just lock in on him. Then he got in foul trouble, so we got away from that just a bit. And then he, again, he was out there primarily to guard him, and I think that's he did a decent job. He works at it. He makes the catches tough. He's swatting at the ball, and I mean Brown's really good. We had to do a lot of stuff to try to stop him there, and they would, we'd counter with something. They'd counter back and hit a deep three on us when we would rotate or something to put 2 on him. And so it was kind of that chess match going on. But I just think Kelly did the work, right? He just accepted the challenge and did the work and did a good job at that.
How big was that high hedge by Andre on the last possession that created the deflection and kind of created the chaos of that last offensive possession?
That was huge. It was huge, and those are just making plays. Drums got some quick hands every now and then, but obviously it was a saving play for that possession, for sure. Yeah.
Nick, Jordan Walsh did a good job against Tyrese late in this game. I guess when you have a matchup like that where there's just so much length on him, what do you sort of want him to do in terms of low hanging fruit to get find advantages there? Yeah.
So we were. I don't know how much of this I should give away, but he was doing a good job, but eventually in the possession he was trying to force him a certain direction. So we were trying to flip the angles of the screens a little bit to give Tyrese some type of driving lane where the big was. He wasn't staring right at the big, and Drum was doing a pretty decent job of that. I mean, Tyrese did get down the paint. There were length and they were pulling in. He had to make some shots over some pretty long guys there for a couple times or get them up. Anyway, but again, I thought he made a couple great kickouts, right? Really, right when we needed them. He was feeling those kickouts. He was asking for certain guys to be certain places because he thought they'd be open. So he was doing a good job of reading that stuff. Yeah.
Obviously, you were able to recover and pick up the win, but I mean, the third quarter issues kind of popped up again. Is there something maybe you can identify and maybe just try to figure it out from there?
I don't know. Right now, I'm gonna say I'd rather be a better fourth quarter team than third quarter team. Because our fourth quarters are pretty damn good.
Nick,
But I'll keep working on it. We'll keep working on it. We did think about changing the lineup. I think just switching something in the lineup is something I've used in the past, right? I went for a long, almost second half of a whole season, starting one group and starting another group in the second half because we kind of had this similar thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do halftime down on the bench instead of coming up to the locker room. I know that's something else we could try. I don't know.
I'm sorry to go away from the game for a second, but you said earlier there was going to be
Yep.
imaging done on both guys.
Yep.
We got an update on Paul George
Yep.
earlier. Is there any update on Joel and sort of where do you stand now with PG with a couple days of practice? Do you expect him to do stuff?
Yeah. I'll answer the Joel part first. Joel has no structural issues, and he's day to day. And what was the Paul question?
Just,
There's
I guess
something
for
in
both
there.
guys then,
Yeah.
I guess for both guys then, is there, with a couple days, I assume in practice, or at least one?
Yeah, I mean,
Friday, is there any plan for participation, that kind of stuff, or is that just a wait and see deal?
I wouldn't rule anything out. Neither one of them have been ruled out, and it is a wait and see from there. Yep.
With Joel's having no structural issues, considering that he's had so many injury problems, how much is that a big sigh of relief? Because you've had him for games this year, and he's played pretty well recently. How much is that
It is certainly. I think what I'm more concerned of is I think he's trending upwards, right? I think the conditioning and the minutes and all the things are going to trend up to playing even better, right? So I think it's really important that we get to hopefully get him out there soon.
Nick, when you look at this team last year to this year, you're not dealing with absences quite at the same level, but still to a good degree. Just what have you made of the team's depth and resiliency so far?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's still we still are going into these games with 3 or 4 rotational guys out. Right? I think last year we were getting mostly 6 and 7 rotational guys out. But this, I mean, it's a different team for sure, and the fact that we've got some youth and speed, and we're able to go out there and scrap, with some intensity and play hard and all that kind of stuff, and give ourselves a chance. I mean, that's all. I keep saying. I just want to somehow find a way to give ourselves a chance, and we've been doing that for, I guess 10 of the 11 games.
You guys have had a pretty compacted.
DJ's athleticism and ability to make big plays these last couple games in the fourth. Would you have known when you met him, like just the mental approach he would have? Because he's made big plays.
Yeah, he has made big plays. I think that again, he's pretty fearless out there, right? He got great composure. He's calm. Like he's not like, he doesn't make too many mistakes. He's all that kind of stuff. And like I super believe in him, which is why I leave him out there in the fourth quarter of a close game. Like he needs to be out there and learn this stuff, and he's produced. And again, he's one of our better defenders for sure. So again, he's going to need to be out there late in games to try to make a play there too.
You guys have had a pretty jammed up schedule. You already have 3 back-to-backs in 11 games. It's nice to have a 5-day stretch of one game to kind of get not only these other guys healthy, but to get their legs under you as a group.
Yeah, so a couple good things, because we got 2 days in a game, and 2 days in a game is we got a whole group of guys that need to get on the court. It's hard to get on the court when you're playing and traveling, right? There's a group of guys that need to get out there and get up and down, and then there's another group of probably 4 guys that need to stay away from the court, right, and get their legs back underneath them.
To go back to Justin for a second, and I know the stay ready mantra is like always what guys that are sort of on the fringe of their rotation always talk about, but like how do you sort of preach and like encourage that like day to day so that somebody is ready to step in?
Well, I mean, I think I've said this to you guys before. Like, I love him. I don't worry about him. Right? Works extremely hard. He's really worked on his shooting. He goes out there and tries as hard as he can on defense every time. He's not perfect, but he's a really good, developing young player that I love. I'm not, when he has a bad game, it doesn't even faze me because I love him.